Have you ever felt like something greater was trying to reach you? Like the chaos, the silence, the delays were never random? Welcome, chosen ones. You didn't land here by accident. This is your divine calling. And in this episode, we're going deep. Not just into spirituality, but into purpose, alignment, and the reason you've endured everything you have. This is not just another video. This is a transmission, a message from the higher path that's been patiently waiting for you to finally listen. You're going to discover truths that your soul has been whispering all along, and by the end, nothing will feel the same again. So sit back, open your heart, and let this be the confirmation you've been praying for, because today, the voice of your calling will be louder than your fear. Let's begin. You thought you were being delayed, but you were actually being developed. Every unanswered prayer, every closed door, every painful detour, it was a divine pause designed to align you, not deny you. The calling on your life was too sacred to be rushed. That's why the universe pulled you back when you tried to force your way forward. It wasn't rejection. It was redirection. You weren't ready before, but now you are. There were moments when it felt like you were being forgotten, like your voice didn't matter, your presence went unnoticed, your faith was wasted. But what you didn't see was how the divine was working behind the scenes, removing what couldn't come with you and making room for what truly belongs. The silence wasn't abandonment. It was sacred preparation. You don't go through divine delay without divine acceleration on the other side. The energy is shifting fast now. Doors that once felt impossible are cracking open. People are being placed on your path. And the strength you gained in the dark is about to become your greatest light. Everything is about to make sense, even the things that broke you. What was once your wilderness is now your womb. You weren't being punished, you were being prepared. That storm didn't destroy you. It cleansed you. You are not who you were when it all began. You see clearer, you move differently, you don't beg anymore, you align, and now you've crossed the threshold. What's behind you has no permission to follow. The cycle is complete. The timeline has shifted. The divine calling is no longer a whisper. It's a roar. This is your time, your anointing, your return. Welcome to the life that was always waiting for the healed version of you. You always knew deep down you were meant for something more, something sacred, something powerful. You didn't fit in because you were never supposed to. The pain of isolation, the confusion of why you couldn't follow the crowd. It was all part of being chosen. Not everyone can carry what you carry. Being chosen doesn't mean being praised. It means being tested, set apart. It means crying alone, healing alone, and rising without applause. It means breaking generational patterns, saying no to easy paths, and standing firm when your knees are shaking. That's what you were called into, and you answered, even when it hurt. You didn't ask for this kind of path. Your soul agreed to it. Before you arrived on this earth, your spirit said yes. Yes to the mission. Yes to the growth. Yes to being the light in dark places. That's why you've survived things that would have crushed others. That's why your presence disrupts what's fake. You are not here to fit in. You are here to lead. Every scar you carry is sacred ink in your divine script. Every betrayal, every loss, every heartbreak, it didn't disqualify you, it initiated you. You weren't broken, you were activated. The fire didn't burn you, it refined you, and now the time of hiding is over. The season of becoming has ended. You are ready, you are equipped, you are walking in your divine authority, and the world is finally about to witness what the divine has been building in silence. You're not crazy for feeling things deeply. You're not broken for sensing things that others don't. You've been tuned to a higher frequency since the beginning. And the world often tried to convince you to mute it. But that sensitivity, that intuition, that knowing, it's part of your divine design. You are not here to be numb. You are here to feel, to guide, to awaken. You were never meant to blend in. There's a reason the ordinary never satisfied you. Why shallow conversations bored you. Why surface-level living felt like suffocation. Your soul was never built for average. It was built for alignment. And now, as you begin to honor that truth unapologetically, your entire life begins to rearrange. The things that once drained you can no longer reach you. People may not understand your shifts. They'll say you've changed. And they're right. You've changed because you're evolving. You've changed because your spirit outgrew the cage of survival and is reaching for something sacred. You no longer chase connection. You attract it. You no longer beg for peace. You embody it. Every time you honored your inner voice, even when it made no logical sense, you were aligning with your divine path. That's why certain people drifted. That's why certain opportunities collapsed. It wasn't failure. It was redirection. You didn't lose your way. You found your truth. Now is the season to fully trust what your soul already knows. No more questioning your gifts, no more shrinking to make others comfortable. You were never meant to fit into a world you came to transform. It's time to stop explaining and start embodying. There comes a moment in every chosen one's journey when silence becomes sacred, when solitude feels like sanctuary, when the world grows quiet not to punish you, but to prepare you. This is when the divine whispers. This is when your true power activates. The distractions fall away and what's left is pure alignment. You stopped fighting for what was never meant for you. That was the first sign of awakening. You began to protect your energy like it was treasure, because it is. You no longer gave access to those who only took. You started to feel peace in saying no. That was the beginning of reclaiming your divine authority. You realized that healing is not always loud. Sometimes it's sitting in stillness and feeling it all. Sometimes it's letting go of the version of yourself that was addicted to struggle. Sometimes it's unlearning the belief that love must be earned. You started to heal when you stopped proving. And in that quiet, something divine began to cease. The most powerful version of you isn't the one who's always achieving. It's the one who's finally aligned. You found strength in rest, in reflection, in letting things unfold without forcing them. That's not weakness, that's wisdom. And the divine honors those who walk in stillness with trust. You're no longer chasing moments, you're moving with purpose. You're not addicted to noise, you're attuned to truth. And the more you honor this sacred rhythm, the more miracles flow to you without resistance. Because when the noise fades, your true voice finally speaks. There's a moment when the pain becomes the teacher. When you stop asking, why me? And start asking, what is this trying to show me? That shift, that awakening, is the beginning of divine perspective. Life was never punishing you. It was trying to prepare you, trying to awaken the dormant strength that comfort could never activate. You started to see the patterns, not just in others, but in yourself. The way you kept choosing peace for others while abandoning your own. The way you kept giving from an empty cup. The way you mistook struggle for purpose. But you didn't stay blind. You chose to confront it. And that choice rewrote your entire path. Divine clarity doesn't always arrive like lightning. Sometimes it creeps in like sunrise, slow but undeniable. One day you wake up and realize you don't want to go back. You don't want to relive those loops. You no longer need closure. You need distance. You no longer want to be understood. You want to be aligned. Healing taught you to listen to your soul's whispers over your ego's screams, and even when it cost you relationships, comfort, or certainty, you chose truth. That's what makes you different. You didn't take the easy path. You took the sacred one. You didn't conform. You awakened. And now, your vision is no longer blurry. You can see who's for you. You can feel what's fake. You know what peace tastes like, and you refuse to give that up again. This is the wisdom you bled for, the clarity you cried for, and now that you have it, you protect it with fire. You didn't just survive. You transmuted. You turned darkness into depth, grief into growth, loneliness into clarity. That's the divine alchemy of a chosen soul. You didn't let pain define you, you let it refine you. And now you move with a presence that's silence trained and storms certified. You realize that the real battle was never outside of you. It was always within. The fight between fear and faith, between control and surrender, between who you were and who you're becoming. And once you saw that, everything else started falling into place, not perfectly, but purposefully. You're not the same anymore. You speak softer, but your words carry more weight. You don't argue to be right. You walk in truth. You don't chase validation. You carry presence. That's not arrogance. That's alignment. And it's magnetic. People start to notice, even if they don't understand it. They feel the difference. They feel your energy before you say a word. That's what happens when your spirit takes the lead. Your light becomes undeniable. Your peace becomes disruptive. Your journey becomes a mirror for others. And as you walk forward, know this. What you're stepping into is not new. It's familiar to your soul. You're not becoming someone else. You're remembering who you've always been beneath the pain, the doubt, the noise. This is your return, and you are finally ready. You were never meant to walk this path with the crowd. That's why the loneliness hit so hard. That's why no one truly understood what you were going through. The divine had to isolate you, not to punish you, but to purify your path. You couldn't hear your true voice with all the noise around you. Silence was the requirement for awakening. You started noticing what others ignored, the words left unsaid, the energy in the room, the pull in your spirit telling you to go left when everyone else went right. That sensitivity used to feel like a curse. Now you understand. It was your compass. You weren't lost. You were just tuned to a frequency few could handle. Every betrayal, every rejection, every moment you were left out, it was part of your assignment. You weren't being abandoned. You were being recalibrated. Your soul had to be protected from distractions disguised as blessings. You were being trained to hear truth without needing proof. This is what makes you different. You move based on alignment, not approval. You trust divine timing over human pressure. You no longer chase, you magnetize. You're not looking for shortcuts. You're walking the sacred path, step by step, no matter how long it takes, because you know what's meant for you will never require you to abandon yourself. Now you wear your solitude like armor, not because you've given up on people, but because you finally found peace within yourself. And from that place of wholeness, you attract only what mirrors your truth. You've stopped begging to be chosen, because you know you already are. There is a version of you that existed before the trauma, the chaos, the confusion. And little by little you are remembering that version, not to become who you were, but to reclaim who you truly are. The healing journey isn't about changing everything. It's about realigning with your original blueprint. At some point, you stopped asking for permission to evolve. You stopped waiting for the world to give you a sign. You became the sign. You understood that you don't need validation to walk a sacred path. You only need courage. And with every quiet yes to your inner voice, the divine confirmed you're on the right track. You've let go of needing to be understood. That was one of the hardest parts. But you finally realized people can only meet you as deeply as they've met themselves. Your depth scared those still living on the surface. Your truth threatened their illusion. So they pulled away. And it hurt, but it also cleared the way. Now you walk lighter, not because life got easier, but because you stopped carrying what was never yours. You gave yourself permission to release guilt, to stop explaining your growth, to protect your peace without apology. That's what freedom feels like. Quiet, grounded, whole. This is your season of reemergence. You've done the work in the dark. You've rebuilt your foundation. You've listened to the whispers when no one else could hear them. And now the world will witness what was once only visible to the divine. You don't need to prove yourself. Your present speaks. You don't owe the past version of yourself anything except gratitude. That version, the one who tolerated too much, who stayed too long, who didn't yet know how powerful they were, they got you here. And now, it's time to evolve. To stop clinging to what felt safe and step boldly into what feels aligned. You don't have to carry their fears anymore. The reason certain things are crumbling is because they were built on survival, not truth. You created relationships, routines, and realities while trying to just get by, not realizing you were meant to thrive. And now, those foundations are breaking, not to destroy you, but to make room for something that fits who you're becoming. You may feel disoriented right now, like your old world no longer fits, but the new one hasn't fully formed yet. That's okay. You're not lost. You're in transition. You're being emptied of what you're not, so you can be filled with what you are. Don't rush the process. Trust it. This is your becoming. The messy middle between who you were and who you're called to be. And even if no one sees the work you're doing behind closed doors, the divine does. The universe sees your effort, your tears, your quiet transformation, and it will not go unnoticed. You're not just shifting your life, you're shifting timelines. The frequency you now carry cannot support anything fake. That's why it all feels so intense. But you're not being punished. You're being positioned. And what's coming next will finally feel like home. There's a reason the divine kept you hidden for so long. You were not forgotten. You were being formed. In the shadows, in the silence, in the seasons where no one clapped for you, that's where the real you was being built. Strength without ego, power without noise, wisdom without performance. You were never meant to be loud to be seen. Your presence is your announcement. Your peace is your impact. You're not here to prove. You're here to embody, and the world will feel you long before they understand you. That's what divine alignment creates, a vibration that cannot be ignored. Now your silence carries more weight than your words once did. Your boundaries speak louder than your explanations ever could. You're not interested in being liked. You're interested in being real. That shift right there is your elevation. That's what makes you unshakable. You stopped playing small to make others feel safe. You stopped dimming your light to avoid judgment. You stopped making yourself available to things that were draining your soul. And because of that, you rose. Quietly, strongly, authentically. And now, it's your time. You're not the same. You're not pretending anymore. You're not waiting anymore. You're walking in your divine calling. And everything you've lost will pale in comparison to what you're about to gain. This is your moment. You don't need permission. You've already been chosen. And here we are, at the edge of everything that no longer serves you, and the beginning of everything your soul has been calling in. If you made it this far, it wasn't just to watch this video. You were meant to feel it, to remember who you are, to realign with your divine calling. So now I ask you, what did this awaken in you? What part of the message spoke to your spirit the loudest? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Let's grow together. And if you're truly walking this sacred path with us, prove it. Write divine calling in the comments so I know you've stayed with me until the end. This isn't the end of your journey. It's the confirmation that you're finally on the right path. You were chosen. You were called, and now you are ready.